Here he is the expert of Vises, and I'm here visiting his shop, and I'm just blown away. So,
Hello.
This is the granddaddy of Vises. I'll let you take it from there.
All right. So hello, my name's David Black. I got a huge vice collection. I restore, I collect, I sell a few, basically to buy more. But I got a few Wilton Bullets out here, and the one on the corner here is a Wilton Bullet 600S with the swivel base. Has 6-inch wide jaws. This one was made in 1971, and they have a stamp underneath the keyway, underneath the slide on these. I don't know that you can see it from there. We'd have to pull it all the way out.
Okay, well, I'm showing where it is. Cool.
But next to this is one that I just picked up probably a couple months ago. This is the granddaddy of the Wilton Bullets. This is a Wilton Bullet 800, and this one probably weighs about 230 pounds, and they don't make them bigger than that, and they still make this one brand new in the U.S. today.
Wow. How many do you think they make a year? Do you have any kind of?
I don't know.
Just based on what you've seen are the serial numbers indicative of the year?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Okay.
These are stamped on the keyway underneath the slide.
Or do people kind of try to figure? Is there a code to the serial numbers, or?
No, there's no code to the serial number that I know of. But they stamp these, and I think they stamp them twice a year. So the probably lots that they get pushed out are every 6 months or so.
So the first set of digits, or the second, or the last set?
Yeah, and it's going to be stamped like a 1-70.
Okay.
And that's, January 1970.
Yeah, that's okay. That's common, yeah.
And you'll see them stamped 170 or 670 every 6 months or so. And I did want to show you this little guy. So this is a jeweler's vice. They call this the baby bullet.
Wow.
This is the smallest one they make. I don't believe they make this one currently.
Yeah.
Usually you'll find these from like 1940 something to about 1970 something.
When did the Wilton Company start out?
So if I remember right, the Wilton Company started off in the early 1930s, 1940s.
Put that little one up on top of here. That'd be.
And they bought out like Colombian Vice over the years, and
right.
Warren, and there's a great.
Were they all in the Chicago area, or did they?
Wilton was.
Yeah, but the companies they were buying, or did they?
Colombian was Ohio.
Gotcha. Wow. So it was all up there in the industrial belt. Yeah,
sure was.
It's just fascinating.
These are little jeweler type vices, and they're collectible.
That's paint. I thought that was a crack.
Yeah, there's some paint on that one.
Yeah, it looked like a crack.
I got a few of these over the years.
Right. And do they make a? Oh, I just answered my own question. I'm looking at that swivel base because I see jewelers having to swing things down or around.
So they call that a power arm, and it
wow.
has the swivel ball in there, and it locks down.
Yeah.
Different angles.
Beautiful.
And here is a York bullet from the Czech Republic.
Aha.
And the story on these guys is these were produced in the early 1900s.
Wow.
And the guy with the patent for this York bullet came over to Wilton Bullet, and that's how the style for the Wilton Bullet started.
Interesting. So this design has its origins in Czechoslovakia.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah. And here's a shiny one.
Here's one that was refinished in my black with red on.
Is that like a Rust-Oleum bronze, or are you?
No, that's actually a hammered black.
Hammered black. Is it spray can?
It is.
Yeah.
All rattle can stuff.
You do a beautiful job, though.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And this is a Wilton C3, so it's the same size jaws as these 600s with the 6-inch jaws here.
But it's got the pipe.
It has the pipe jaws.
You call that a combo, a combination?
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. And you're into anvils?
Yeah, I collect some anvils. I've come across some big ones, but I don't do any heavy blacksmithing.
Yeah.
So it's more for collectible and maybe some cold forging type stuff.
When my dad moved to New Mexico in 1970 to be a doctor out here, he decided he wanted to get into sculpting. So he went and bought an oxyacetylene torch with a cutting head and a regular, brazing head. And I think he had a book that he was studying to do like just welded rod sculpture, brazing type sculpture. And somebody said, go get a piece of narrow gauge railroad tie for your anvil. and that was his first project. Is he cut out the, he basically went and I don't know where he found the railroad. Went to like an antique place just down the highway or something, and they had a little stretch of, a stretch of old narrow gauge, and he cut it down with his newly bought cutting torch.
He formed a horn, and
he cut. Yeah, I think in the book he had it showed how you cut out the web and make your own little, and it was rough, but we ended up using it. Yeah, I don't know what ended up happening to it, but we ended up using it as teenagers, because then you get in Dad's shop and you start using all the tools.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, there's a little bit of my collection right there.
Have you ever seen one like homemade out of a railroad tie? Yeah, it's pretty common. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But narrow gauge, looking back on it, I kind of wished you'd have gotten a full size, because it was kind of small. It wasn't.
And I have cutouts as well. I haven't formed anything, but I have one there, and I have a couple on my workbench over here.
And so would this be considered a standard railroad track? Yeah, that's awesome.
And I use them for some cold forging and straightening out handles.
Yeah, anytime you got that amount of metal to pound on, it doesn't. The shape almost doesn't matter as long as it's got a base and stuff.
Well, I wish I still had my 424-pound anvil that I had. I sold it last week.
How big was that in comparison to this?
So, I mean, it was it would take up most of the table.
It was twice as big as that.
Easy.
Yeah.
Because this one's 100-pound anvil.
Okay, cool. Wow. Thanks a lot. That was killer. There's a lot more in here, but I'm going to keep this short. That's awesome.
Of course.